So, yeah, what I'm working on right now is something I've never done before. I'm recording a cover of the original HeMan and the Masters of the Universe theme opening. It's like a song, but it's got narration over it. And basically what I've done here is I figured out all the rhythm guitar parts first. And I have 3 different versions of the theme in here that 2 of them I got, well actually all of them I got off YouTube. I have the original, just the opening, and then I have another one on here which includes both the opening and the closing, because the closing structurally is different. And I can tell by listening to it closely that basically they recorded, you know, this piece of music and then edited it together, because the opening theme, when it comes in, it's basically the chorus, but the weird thing about it is it's 5 measures long, and you can tell that there's a point where, so basically the chorus is, when it comes in, there's 2 different versions. You have the opening and the closing. It makes it strange, but in the opening, when it kicks into the chorus, you just hit the A. Every other measure, it's a whole step. You go from G to A, but that opening one, you just hit the A. And from there, after you hit that A, well, let me demonstrate. So if I get my guitar here, the first measure of the chorus, you hit the A, and then it's like, it's a D to A, and then it's so it alternates. The second section of each measure, it alternates from D to A, and then the following would be C to A. But after you get 3 measures into it, it repeats the exact same. It's D to A, D to A, and then goes back for the last measure, C to A. So you can tell that they recorded this piece of music here and then edited it to make it fit within the structure of the narration. So it makes it kind of awkward to play it as it is actually edited together. And at first I really wasn't sure how I wanted to approach this. Originally I was thinking I just wanted to do an instrumental of it. And you know, there's a bunch of instrumental versions of this particular theme on YouTube. I mean, a lot. And I found one that is almost identical musically to the original. I mean, they worked out all the parts, the strings, the woodwind, the keyboards, drums, bass, guitars, everything is almost identical. And it actually is easier to figure out what they are actually doing from that than it is the original theme, because it's got the narration over it. And so, you know, when the narration comes in, they dip the music, and it makes it difficult to figure out what they're doing. There's a lot actually going on in this song. It really is. So I figured out all the guitar parts rhythmically. Obviously, I'm doing a metal version of this. You know, this ain't going to be keyboard driven at all. So I figured out all the rhythm parts of this, and from that point, I figured out the structure of the drums. And basically what I have done here, essentially, is I borrowed a kit. I mic'd each individual piece of that kit and made my own samples. I took those samples and mixed in samples that were already in Sample Tank. I think the version was 2 or 2.5 or something. And then from that point I blended them, I processed them, and then I bounced down the final, sound. So everything's already built in. You got all the blend of the samples, you got the processing, the compression, the parallel compression, all that, all already mixed in, and I made just a bounce down of that, and I uploaded them all into a library. And so now that I've established that, I can pull up Sample Tank, and the great thing about this particular Sample Tank, I guess it's just 2.0, is that you can upload your own samples into it. You don't have to use their samples. And so basically what I got here, these are my own samples that are already processed. The only processing left that I have to do once I convert these to WAV files is that I will process all the toms together and then process the overheads together. Everything else is already done. All I have to do is put what I want where I want it, which is right here. So basically I just started with the kick. And the tricky thing about this was trying to get the right BPM, because the BPM on this is not normal. So I use this metronome. This is a tuner and a metronome in one deal. And that's a tuner. Metronome here. Turn the tuner off. I usually use this for tempo. So I was looking at 138. I wasn't doing it. When I first was listening to it, I was thinking it was like an average 120, but when I really got into it, it wasn't that at all. It was much faster. So I was trying 138, that wasn't working out. I tried 144, that wasn't working out. And then I landed on something in between 152 and 144, which is 146. And so after I figured out all the structure of the kick, and basically what the kick is doing is mimicking what I'm going to be doing rhythmically on the guitar. So if I play back, let me mute this. Oh, yeah, maybe I should. Alright, my monitors are on. Oh, I got some other stuff in here too. I haven't figured out all the drum parts yet. I just put some stuff in there. I'm still working on it. Where's the toms? Alright, now I just got the kick in there. And I basically figured out the entire structure of the opening theme. I haven't got to the closing theme or anything yet. But as far as what I'm playing rhythmically on the guitar, the kick mimics that. So I figured out the entire structure of the whole opening and tried to match it up to the original theme tempo-wise. So if I open this up. Now if you look here, I go all the way to the end of this opening thing. This WAV file right here that I'm highlighting is the original opening theme from the cartoon. And if you look here, that is the last two bangs of the end. That HeMan right there. And basically my kick at 146 BPM is very close, but about, I think there's 16th notes. Yeah, I'm at 16th notes. It's like 1/16th note off. And this is my kick here. So, at the beginning, I have like a little count off for me using the kick, which I like to do, as opposed to a metronome, which I use a metronome too while tracking. But the metronome, it's not a very good kickoff for me, countdown. So this is where it actually starts here. And I tried to get that initial impact of the original theme as close as I could. taking it into slip mode and sliding it over. So from there, they both start at the exact same point, minus the, fade in. And I come back to the end of all this. And it's just 1/16 note off. Now, if I go up, tempo-wise, to 147, it's way too long. 145, way too short. So it's like right around there, but it's weird. I mean, I think it was recorded live, and it was just going by, I don't think they were using a metronome at all when they tracked this. So what I was thinking about doing is trying to get it even tighter than that. To really get it, really synced in to the original theme. So what I was going to try to do is just kind of experiment with the, decimal points here. And maybe put, well, let's take a look at this. I'm dragging a little bit, right? So I need to quicken this up. So I would need to change 146 to 145, right? Oh, how did I get that? 145, right? But they're in the decimal points. Let's try to put a 5-0. See what happens. See, that pushed me way back, so I'm going in the opposite direction. I need to go faster. Yeah, I don't know. I'm off. I don't know what I'm thinking. So let's reset that, shall we? The thing that sucks about this, right, is that when you change the... I don't know what I'm doing. 146. Enter. When you change the tempo, it throws all your markers way off. As you can see, I got end, bridge, verse, verse 2, chorus, intro, verse. I got slide, intro, verse. So let me sync this back up. Okay. So now, oh, that screwed things up. I only changed it from there. I forgot about that. You got to go all the way to the center. So technically, I didn't do that wrong. Might have been thinking right originally. Let's go back to the beginning. What's the tempo at? Tempo is at 146, and then I put that 145.5 there. Let's get rid of that. Let's go here. Hold on. I'm at the beginning. I'm going to click on this little dude here. I'm going to put 145. Decimal point 5. Let's go. Let's see what happens. Might be going in the opposite direction. Now, I'm like 2/16 notes off. No, 3/16 notes off. So that's obviously the wrong direction. Let's go back. Reset this to 146. 146. Now what I want to do. Try this again. Let's see if I can take this with 5. Enter. See what happens. Did it get it closer? You know what? It did get it closer. It did. But it's not dead on. I got like a 30-second note off. Go there, look at that. I'm like just a 32nd of a note off. But it definitely got it closer. Still a little. So I need a little bit more. And so, let's put this back to 16th notes. It makes it easier to view. I'm going to go back to this tempo. Let's try to put 5/5 here. See what happens there. No, that's way too much. That is way too much. Alright. Let's try something crazy. 505. What does that do? What does that do? Then again, one thing you got to consider is that that also throws this off. So my MIDI drum samples are going to be synchronized to the BPM, so I don't have to worry about that. But these wave files here have to be adjusted with each tempo change. But it's not that far off to where I would need to slide over and redo to see if it's closer or not. That's basically where I was with the 5,000 decimal point system. So that's not really helping. Let's try 51. What is that? Alright. Now see it? Man, I put it there. I hate that. You gotta go all the way to the center, or the beginning, and adjust this. 51. Enter. Now, is this? It's pretty darn close. I can adjust that later. Let's see what it did. Let's see what it did. Still like a 30-second note off. Man, this sucks. Let's go to center. Let's see if this is. I mean, technically, this is completely unnecessary. I don't have to do this, you know? I mean, it's tight enough to where it's, when you listen back to it, when I have this thing done, you aren't going to notice a difference. I just thought it'd be cool to get it to the exact same BPM that the original was in. So really, technically, I don't have to do this. This is completely unnecessary. We'll see what happens there. Alright, I changed it to center. That's not even going to make a difference. Let's go to the end. Let's see where we're at. I'm right here. I'm right here. I need to get farther back. It's too much. Too much. You get my point. I'm not going to film this whole stupid thing. I'm going to figure out, see if I can, the precision of the BPM of the original opening theme for He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon theme. So yeah, see ya. So yeah, dude, I'm been experimenting with the BPM with the original Masters of the Universe theme, the opening theme, and you know, I got all the kick mapped out here, trying to sync it directly to the tempo of the original recording. And I would assume that they tracked this thing live with no metronome, because I've gotten this as precise as I can get it, and the BPM is actually, check this out, 146.18. That's as close as you can get it. That is synced up as much as you can. But you got the beginning right here. I get that linked up. The initial impact, you know, along with the impact of my kick here. You go all the way to the end here, and the last two bangs of this ending, totally synced right there. But you know, throughout the opening, you know, it's kind of phasing in and out of tempo there. I mean, phasing probably isn't the proper term for that, you know. It's getting a little bit out of sync here and there. So, yeah, I would assume, most definitely, that when they tracked this, it was live and there was no metronome in the system. So anyway, this is completely unnecessary, of course, but I just thought it would be totally rad to get this version totally synced up with the original, tempo-wise, with the original Masters of the Universe theme. So yeah, so I got my kick all mapped out. The kick is basically mimicking what I'm going to be doing rhythmically with the guitar. And I got some double kick in here too, I'll tell you what. Yeah, dude, right there. Yeah, dude. He-Man's got some double kick in there. That's rad. Yeah, check that out. And that's a real kick, by the way. Alright, Cool. Right on. So yeah, dude, I got all the drums mapped out. And I got them perfectly synced up with the original opening theme to this. And what's weird is the tempo is so strange. It's peculiar. Look, check this out. In order to get it synced up perfectly, I had to set the BPM to 146.18. Now, here's another weird thing. The opening theme, I got the drums all synced up perfectly to it, right? But you go to the closing theme, and that BPM is out. It's not right. Now, I can tell by listening to this underneath the narration that they edited this opening theme. Because there's a section in the chorus where they had to repeat one line in order to make the chorus 5 measures instead of 4 to make it line up with the narration. So I'm thinking that they probably tracked this, piece of music all at one time and then later edited it together to get it to link up. But, I was starting to question whether this YouTube file had been tampered with itself or not. So I mic'd up my TV and recorded it from the DVD. I linked it right up to the YouTube file, and it's perfectly in sync.
And the masters of the universe.
So, the YouTube file has not been tampered with. That's how the opening theme is. So anyway, I got the drums all mapped out, perfectly synced with this opening theme. It's quite rad, really. Check this out. I go over here and mute my drums.
And the masters of the universe.
Double kick, dude. Got double kick in there. Yeah. Anyway, now here's another weird thing. The file, the music, the pitch has been tampered with. It's out of key. You can't play along to it without it disturbing you because it sounds so horrible. Because no matter if you're playing it, in G-A or in G-sharp, A-sharp, it's not in, it's out. So the pitch has been tampered with, which possibly may mean that might explain why the BPM is so weird. Now, originally I was thinking that they must have recorded this thing live without a metronome in order to get it to that BPM, but, they might have had a metronome running through the system, and they just, when they tampered with the pitch, it also tampered with the tempo as well. I don't know. It's really weird. I never realized how weird this thing was until I started uncovering it. Now, another thing I didn't notice is how involved this piece of music is. There's so many layers of this thing. There's so many things going on all underneath that narration. So, anyway, I got the drums done. Drums are done, dude. So, yeah, dude, double kick. Now here's another weird thing. When it goes from verse 2 into the bridge, there is an 8th note. It's like an 8th note off. If I come over here and zoom in, go up here. So this is the end of verse 2. And then the bridge starts there, which is like an 8th note off. Now I get why they did that, because if you check out what's going on underneath the narration.
Only 3 others share.
Hold on, let me extend that a little bit. Extend that a little bit.
Only 3 others share this secret.
You got that HeMan chorus underneath it. And the HeMan chorus kind of takes up this space here. And so then it comes in like an 8th note later. It's awkward. It's awkward.
Only 3 others share this secret.
So yeah, dude. Anyway. Drums are done. And I got double kicked all up in it. Yeah, dude. Right on. This is the end of the opening theme here. And then, bam, I got the next section. Now the next section opens, and then for the most part closes the same way the original closing theme does. The difference is that I extended it, so I could play around with it a little bit. Yeah, dude. So anyway, yeah, dude, drums are done. It's about time to start tracking guitars.